Why wouldn't I do these things? I can do everything because I choose to.
Oh, I can do everything because I choose to.
It really feels like that. It is so special about me that I can't. Right? I see all these other people doing it. So what is so less about me? No, if they can do it, I see it as proof like I can do it.
From what I hear from you, we were all born confident, and I love it.
Who are you not to do these things?
Well, Linde, first of all, welcome. I was thinking about this episode the whole day because I was running around this morning. I'm currently in Bali. I was sitting there with my little journal and writing down how grateful I am that I get to sit down with some of the people that I look up to, some of the people whose content I watch, and there are not many people who I actually, follow and I consume their content. You are one of them. And so I feel really honored to be able to spend the next hour with you. And happy, warm welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And I can say I feel the complete same, but from the opposite side. I was so happy when you messaged me. I'm so happy to be here now. So let's create
Hi.
some magic.
Really? Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know. It feels like I already know you because I follow you and I watch your content. But let's maybe dive right into it. I know for sure this is an episode that can help a lot of people because let's be honest, everybody, including me, and I'm ready to make myself vulnerable here today, and not show the picture perfect. Axel is always confident side, but also the vulnerable side. And everybody has, I'm sure you have too. Everybody has moments of self-doubt. Everybody has this voice, this inner
For
judge who
sure.
says sometimes very interesting things. And I want to dive deep into this whole topic of embodiment, of confidence and anxiety. But maybe let's start with you. Let's start with maybe getting a bit of context. Are you someone who was just born confident? Is that
Ooh,
something that ooh? Do
I
you
like
think that's a
that.
real thing? Like someone is either you're confident or not.
Oh, I think we're all born confident, and that's what people forget. When you're a child, you're confident, right? You're exploring, you're falling, you're getting up again. It doesn't matter. You're just doing your thing. You're screaming in public. You don't mind. So I feel like as a child, you're already confident, and then over the years, you get all these layers of beliefs, traumas, expectations, and then we grow insecure. So when we do this journey back to our confidence, it's just about getting back to that essence because it's still there. That childlike version that's confident is there.
Wow, we grow insecure.
For sure. And yeah,
How was that for you? Did you go through that same journey?
for sure. Like when I look back as a child, I was not insecure. I was in my own little world. I was dancing on the street. I was connecting with people all the time as a kid. And then I started to close myself off and I got more and more mental health issues. I got social anxiety, I got depression, low self esteem. And I didn't know that I had mental health issues because I was a kid. I only realized at 19. I was like, oh my God, I've been having mental health issues since I was 9. That's insane. But when I was 19, I realized, oh my God, that's why I feel so bad. I'm so insecure. I don't like myself. I have such a bad view of myself. And when I started doing the embodiment work, I saw my younger self a lot and be like, oh my God, she was so free. She was so confident. So I can be that again. So I definitely walked that journey. I was confident, born confident. Then I got terribly insecure. My mind was my worst enemy. And now I'm on this path of confidence. And that's what I call it as well. It's a journey, it's a never ending journey that we're on. And I feel right now the best I've ever felt. I feel like a child again.
Mm, 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 mm. I like this part, and I can so relate. I While you were speaking, a couple of moments popped into my head that defined my confidence in a couple of areas. Also being this, I'm going to be honest with you. This moment popped into my head while you were speaking. It was one of the first parties I ever went to. I was like maybe 13 or 14. I just had a good time. I was dancing, I had a good time. And just one guy came over, not even a close friend, just like someone you know, and I'm from like a tiny village and you kind of know, you know, everybody. And he said, well, you're not a good dancer.
Oh.
And I'm like, really? I thought I was. And that sentence did something with me.
Yes.
All of a sudden, like for the next couple, almost for a decade, really until my early 20s, I stopped dancing the way I danced there, which
Wow.
was, I don't give a damn. And maybe later we go into how I changed that. But it was like such a
Yeah.
tiny thing. It did so much with my confidence. And the same, while I'm speaking, there was this other moment where I was, so I used to be a very skinny teenager. I was just in love with playing football all the time. And I grew up without mother, so, and my father wasn't, let's say, the best cook. So I was exercising a lot, playing a lot of sports, but I was really skinny. So people picked up on that, like, do you have like an eating disorder and yada, yada, yada. And I remember this one friend of my father coming over and like looking at me. I just started exercising. So I was like, oh, I'm gaining weight. I'm getting more confident. And she's like, wow, you are so skinny. And I'm like,
Oh.
wow. Those tiny things, like it
Yes.
really left an impact. And for the next year or two, yes, I worked super hard on myself, but for a long time, like in terms of my fitness journey, it was so that I don't get bullied anymore.
Yes. Yes. Like it's the smallest sentences that make the biggest impact. And often when this happens, it's something deeper is often getting triggered, right? So if somebody says you're a bad dancer or you're skinny, it's directly linked to maybe a feeling of not being accepted, maybe once again bullying. So these small comments, they often trigger something a lot deeper, but they can have impact for like years to come, which
Yeah,
is insane.
yeah, yeah. And it's interesting if the same thing happens today. If someone tells me it happened actually this summer, I had to laugh about it. Like someone said, "Oh, you really lost weight." I'm like, yeah, whatever. There's a different level of self confidence now. Or if someone says you're a bad dancer, I'm like, who the heck are you to judge?
Yes.
And even if, you know, I don't think so, but thank you for letting me know. So there's a different, I would say I'm back to my childlike confidence of like, I'm good the way I am. And if you don't like it,
Yes.
suck it up. But it
Yeah.
wasn't the case like this. And that's why I also asked this question, because there is this belief of like either, I think for many people, either you're confident or you're not. It's nothing that's, it's like almost in your genes. So either, you know, you've been born confident or you
Yes.
haven't. But from what I hear from you, we were all born confident. And I love it.
Yes, that's so interesting because when I work with clients, they have the same belief, right? They're like, I'm just an anxious person, I'm just shy, I'm just introverted. And in my mind, I'm already like, you're likely not, but I'm not going to say that to them. I'm like, I'm just going to see where this goes, right, in a few months. And then
Yeah.
afterwards, they're like, oh my God, I'm actually such a social person. Like, I feel like I was myself again as a kid. And we forget that. We've been insecure so long because most people get insecure around their teenage years, then you get into your 20s. So there's already a decade of insecurity there, and people don't realize that they could be feeling differently. And I think that is why people think you're either confident or not, because people don't know how it feels like because they forgot, but they used to feel like it.
Yeah, you said something really interesting. You said that there is this phrase, I'm an anxious person. So, and I know you talk a lot about embodiment. I wanted to basically talk about this at the end, but it's coming
No
up
worries.
now. So, just for us to understand, what happens if you say, I'm an anxious person? What comes with it? Like, why is that a problem?
It's mostly because you make it your story, you make it your identity. And if it's your identity, having different behavior that doesn't align with that identity is not gonna stick. To give a very simple example I was going through recently, it's like I'm a person who don't like exercise. I'm not a fit person. Okay, well, if you have a fitness goal and you think I'm not a fit person, I'm a lazy person, obviously
Yeah.
sticking to that goal is going to feel so difficult. But when you shift that, it's like I'm a healthy person, I care about my body, I love working out. It goes like that. It goes so quick working
Yeah.
out. And the same with anxiety. When we are like, I'm an anxious person, you go to in a room expecting yourself to be anxious. So your brain and your subconscious, it wants to kind of, it takes orders, your subconscious. So it's like, oh, she wants to be anxious. Okay, let's go. Let's make her anxious, right? But if you walk into a room, like I'm actually a quite calm person, maybe confident, like saying to yourself, if you're an anxious person, I'm a confident person, is too big of a gap. But if you say like I'm a calm person or a grounded person, and knowing how that grounded or calm version feels like, it's so much easier to tap into them. And when you get triggered, like
Yeah.
the anxiety is coming up, you can very quickly be like, oh, but I know what I need to do now to feel like the calm person. If that answers
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. 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 1 million%. I definitely want to get into the practical parts as well, but I think it helps people to listen to stories and examples, just like you did. I have a personal example, especially when I started my journey on social media. There was this identity that I gave myself of my English isn't good enough. It's not my first language, but it kept. I think it was like 2 years ago when I think I had a big breakthrough at an event, but I kept telling myself like my English is not good enough. And so
Yeah.
whenever I would have a conversation with someone and I would catch myself making a mistake, that little voice in my head would go, "See, I told you. It's not." And then I would get into my head and I wouldn't be
Yes.
present anymore.
Yes.
And I shifted my identity from my English isn't good enough to I am actually really talented when it comes to languages because I speak 5 languages.
Wow.
And it's okay that, including Dutch, by the way, don't test me. But
I will.
I know you're Dutch. Yeah, okay, good, no problem. I'm ready, born ready. I shifted it to I'm talented when it comes to languages, and it's part of it to make mistakes. I even make mistakes in my mother language. Like when I speak German, I make mistakes all the time. Everybody does because it's a freaking complicated language. But it's somehow it's okay in my mother language, but it's not okay in a language that I learned when I was, I don't know, 11. Oh, okay.
Interesting.
And it really shifted things. It really did. Like now I talk with confidence, and it was even interesting, and maybe that's something you see in your work. The feedback I got from the outside already before was your English is amazing. Like, how do you
Yeah.
do it? And blah, blah, blah. But inside, I was like, I don't believe a single word of what you're saying. Reminds me a bit
Yes.
of this phenomenon. I know some very gorgeous, good looking women who hear that their entire life, like, you're so beautiful, you're so beautiful. But inside, it's a whole different story.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. This comes down to like the mind tries to prove what it believes. So if you believe you're bad at English, you're only gonna find proof. So the people who give you compliments, you're seeing them, the mind is like doesn't align with the belief out. And it throws it out. And what you did there was shifting the belief like, oh my god, I can learn so many languages. Now you're looking for proof for that. Like I can speak them, I got a compliment, and now your brain is picking up on them. And to kind of rewind that back to confidence or anxiety, often when we have social anxiety, we fear something else, like others, people thinking something of us, like maybe people disliking us. If we have to believe people dislike us, and we talked to 3 people in a day, 2 conversations were wholesome, they were amazing, and 1 conversation was a little bit awkward. Maybe they frowned a little bit in the conversation. What's the brain gonna do? It's going to forget the other 2 good conversations, and it's going to focus on that bad conversation. You see, people don't like talking to me. You see, and then the anxiety grows worse. But this is a really big part of confidence, what you've done as well, just shifting that belief, and then you find the evidence for this new belief, and only then the subconscious is going to believe it, right? We need evidence for it.
Yeah, it's unbelievable what it did for me, even
Yeah.
with. So I speak Russian. I grew up speaking or listening to Russian. And for a long time, there was just no confidence or this belief I'm not good. Basically, I think the core belief was it's bad to make a mistake, or it's not safe to make a mistake.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? So my core belief was in terms of languages. I don't speak it unless I know I make very little mistakes. So I didn't even speak. I barely spoke Russian, and when I spoke it, it was like I was hiding. And basically, my reality was I kind of didn't speak it, although I spoke it. And then this whole process, like I focused during this one event we went to, was a lot about this because it's hindering me in my work. And all of a sudden, I speak fluently, funny Russian. I have no problem. It's
That is
insane how much is
amazing.
possible when you shift your beliefs.
It is
Should we
insane.
maybe start there? Because I think there are a lot of people listening right now and saying like, okay, well, you know what, guys? I think I know that I have a couple of limiting beliefs. I deal with anxiety. I think we all do, and especially I just had a coaching call before this. Men do. Like,
Yeah.
they are anxious. It's very surprising, right? We also have this thing called anxiety at times. Should we maybe start with what the heck is anxiety? What is, we just talked about it, what is embodiment? Just so we are all on the same page.
Yeah.
What is anxiety? What is embodiment? And what is, maybe, to start with, what is a belief?
Okay. You want to start with the belief part?
Let's start with the belief part.
The belief part, a belief is basically a quote unquote truth you've taken on, right? It's often a
Yes.
simple sentence, and a belief is in extremes. It doesn't know like duality. It's like everybody likes me or nobody likes me. I'm
Yeah.
absolutely like, if I fear, like
I'm
I'm
absolutely
either,
certain that, yeah.
yes, I'm dumb or I'm smart. It's not like sometimes I'm smart. No, the subconscious doesn't really know that. So I wish it did.
Yeah.
But we need the conscious mind to say it to it. But I think that's a belief, just taking on a sentence and just saying that's the truth. And the thing with reality is, well, you don't know what's the truth. So you can decide your own beliefs, because both can be true if you believe it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. So it's like basically in your head you say, I am certain that, and then
Yes.
I'm certain that I'm beautiful.
Yeah.
It's as you said, not sometimes that I'm certain I'm good looking. I'm certain
Yeah.
I'm good with languages. I'm certain I'm a good dancer or a bad dancer,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, I like that.
Perfect. Yeah. And then anxiety, if we move to that one, anxiety is super normal. Like, we all experience it. It's just kind of a restlessness, nervousness, and it's just a sign of the body. Like, ooh, I sense danger. Ooh, something is not going right here. That's all anxiety does. But when we really talk about anxiety as a problem, it basically means that restlessness, that nervousness, that danger alarm is going off too frequently. It's going off for situations where it's not needed. It is holding you back from living a good life. That's when anxiety becomes a problem.
Keeps you up at night, wakes you
Yes.
up at night,
It shouldn't. Like,
makes you.
anxiety. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. It basically, the definition that I really like is you believing there is an immediate threat or danger, and you believing that you can't cope with it, that it's too
Ooh,
much of a deal, so
yes.
that you don't have space. That's when from what I understood and what I see in my work, that's when people get a so-called anxiety attack. Like, when it gets so bad, you think it's gonna freaking kill you.
Yes. Yes.
and it and it's not lions anymore that are trying to kill us, but the brain thinks to say, like, it can be something so little, like a comment that someone made at work, and you're thinking, I'm going to lose my job, and I'm going to lose everything, and I'm going to die. And for some
Yes.
people, it's like causing this anxiety attack, and in reality, there was no lion trying to rip you apart, but it was all in your head.
Yes. I love like, that example. And to go even smaller, if you're speaking to someone and they frown, that could already be a threat for
Yeah,
people.
yeah,
You see, this
yeah,
person doesn't like me, even though the frown is probably people just thinking like, oh, what does she mean? Maybe I'm not feeling good, or it could be the
Yeah.
smallest things could set off the alarm of their saline coming in.
Oh yeah. It's sometimes it's the craziest thing. We see little beautiful, cute, but in real life they're cute puppies, and you think, oh, your brain is like, oh, it's a lion trying to kill me. No, it's a puppy.
Yes, yes.
When the monsters turn out to be just trees. So often true. So we have we will be talking about practical things that people can do to self-regulate and get out of anxiety.
Yes.
I know you have a lot of practical tools, but I want to start with awareness, because I think many people think they shouldn't have any of it. They shouldn't,
Yeah.
like it's a bad, like something is wrong with you. Back to like genes. I had that conversation with a friend recently. She's just, yeah, I am like this. My family was like this. I'm like, I'm your friend. I'm not going to coach you, but I'm not sure if that's the best story to. I don't know if it's the
Yeah.
truth. Let me go that far. Let's define maybe embodiment in your world. What do you think embodiment is, and maybe also touch on why is it helpful or important.
Yes. Yeah. So embodiment is really just stepping in or showing up as the version of yourself that you like to be. Right?
Yeah.
And what do we mean with showing up? It's like feeling as this person, thinking as this person, and acting like this person. And it really comes back to the saying like you need to start showing up as them before you become them. And a lot of people get stuck there because okay, how do I show up as this person? Right? Who am I going to show up
Mm-hmm.
as? And that's where embodiment comes in because you get crystal clear on okay, what does that person look like, act like, feel like? You actually start to feel like them already, and then integrating actions that are aligned with this new version becomes so much easier because I always say if you don't know how it feels like showing up as it's going to be really difficult. So let's just start with the embodiment.
Oh, can you repeat that sentence? I think that one was really powerful.
Yeah, so when you don't know how something feels like, it becomes impossible to show up as that version. And one way that I always say to my clients is when we are trying to let go of the old version, the anxious version, and we want to go to the confident version, I first need you to get crystal clear on how that new version feels and acts like. Otherwise, you're never going to let go of your old self because if you let go, who are you going to be? And people don't like being nobody. So they need a path. They need to know what they're working towards. Otherwise, it becomes way too scary to let go of the known, to get into the unknown.
Mm.
Good.
Yeah, let it sink in.
Yes.
I had this conversation yesterday with a friend saying that basically what you just described.
Mm-hmm.
There is this. So the reason why many people want money is because not of the paper. It's often very ugly. Let's be real. Especially the new euros. Like, what are they doing with it? But anyway, don't you think it's? I think the old ones were much better. But anyways, that's subjective. Beauty is subjective. People want money. We want money because it gives us a feeling like certainty, stability, right?
Yes.
Here's the thing. There are a lot of people with a lot of money who don't have that certainty, stability, who don't have
Yes.
that feeling.
Yeah.
And so wouldn't it be great to first do the inner work
Yes.
and create that stability and certainty here so that when you have the money, you can also feel like truly rich because you can have a lot of money and still be broke?
Yes. Yeah.
Or that you even attract money more easily into your life. And the same is
Yes.
true probably for love as well. When I think back in my life, I usually attract the best partners, the most amazing women, when I'm so good with myself. Like when I
Yes.
basically, I remember saying, like I don't need anybody. Like, I'm so happy with just how life is. I'm having fun. Life is good. I'm happy. Then usually someone comes. That's kind of embodiment, isn't it?
For sure. I love that you touch upon this because you need to feel as if you already have it, as if you're already this person before you become it. And then it doesn't even matter if you become it because the feeling is there. And I have the same right now with body confidence. That is something I, on my confidence journey, struggled a little bit the most with. The mental part I'm really good at, the social part I'm really good at, just the body part was really difficult. And I started gaining weight. And I started embodying a fit person who loved her body. And right now, I still have
Mm.
the same old weight, but I feel so beautiful. And I'm working out, but it's coming from a place I already feel this the confidence that I would get of having a fit body. I already radiate that because I already feel that way. I'm already beautiful. Um, and it becomes so much easier to work out to that version right now because I already feel like that person. I'm already showing up as her. She cares about her body. And then it's only a matter of
Hmm.
time until that body becomes my body. And I can relate with you on the subject of love as well. I think that is one of the things I've always been confident in my life. And I've always had this kind of dream version of, okay,
How?
people, I don't know. I
Just
truly
kidding.
don't know. But I always had this feeling like, oh, I like love it finds me. I like people, like my partner loves me. I find the right people. And I've always found partners that were so incredible. The love was always so real from both sides. The energy was always right. And I've never had an experience with a man where there were like games or anything. And I
Hmm.
truly believe that's part of mostly because of the energy I was always radiating. Because you radiate that energy and you want that energy, I was blind to all the other people out there who weren't aligned with that. I don't meet those people, and if I meet them, I likely subconsciously already distance myself very quickly.
Mm. Wow. I want to touch on this love part because I know for everybody it's a topic. But
Yeah,
maybe before, since you are in the process, and I really appreciate that you're so honest and saying like, hey, there's still stuff that I get to work on.
for sure.
Um, yeah, sometimes there is this assumption of like, a good coach has it all figured out, and you can't have any way. No, it's like
No, no.
no.
What I think with being a good coach, you don't have no problems or struggles all of a sudden. I just think that as a really good coach, you just know how to go about them, right? You don't look at them with judgment. You are aware of them when they come up. Sometimes it can take years. And then you just kind of work your way through them with compassion, kind of finding the way. I think that's, yeah, you don't, as a good coach, you don't have no problems. You just kind of are a little bit more, you can navigate them a little bit more easy. Let's say it
Yeah,
like that.
and I would say, I mean, at the end of the day, a good coach is it's not about the coach. It's about
True.
how good can he or she serve and
Yes.
bring support the other person. Like I would say,
Yes.
it doesn't matter what I'm doing. At the end of the day, is like, can I help you get you to where you want to go? And
True.
then you can be a terrible tennis player, but a really good tennis coach that really exists.
Really?
And that's yeah. That of course, that often the player is better than the coach, but it's irrelevant because it's not about it. It's about like, hey, can we grow together as a team, and not who's better, who's worse, and are you perfect? No.
I
So I
love
really
that.
like that part. What is it that you practically
Mm.
do? Because I know people will wonder and ask, like, okay, listen, guys, good, I'm aware now. How the heck do I change my life? I want to attract the right person.
Yes.
I want to get into shape. I want to have an abundance of money. I don't know what else people wish for, but they probably want to know, Linde, can you tell me, like,
I
what am I
will.
supposed to do? How do I shift my identity? How do I embody what feels impossible right now? Because if you're in it, I think I'm the voice for many people. It feels
For
hard
sure.
to change what's
Yes.
familiar.
Yes. So the first thing I want to
So,
say is that for everybody listening, that's normal. The first part is always the hardest. So don't shy away from it being hard, it being challenging, it being uncomfortable. The first few times it's going to be like that. And then you become a master at it. That's just how things go. Um, but to give a specific example or how I go about it. So, love or fitness. First of all, get super, super clear, right? Okay, what do I exactly want? Like if it's like just being fit, okay, what does it look like? Is it a certain weight? Is it seeing certain muscles? Is it being able to run a 10K? Like it's different for everybody, so get super specific. And then how does that make you feel? Okay, I will feel like this or that, confident, free, energetic. And then you go into the person. Okay, what does that person act like? How do they behave? What thoughts do they have? What beliefs do they have? So for example, for fitness, this person loves her body. she believes she deserves the best, so she takes care of herself. Or this person loves a good sweat,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you get really specific. Okay, if they love a good sweat and they're tired at 11 p.m. and they still need to put in the workout, what are they going to do? Maybe they're still going to do a 15-minute workout or a 30-minute workout, right? So you really get very specific on
Mm-hmm.
habits, thoughts, beliefs, everything. And when it comes to a partner, I've done
Mm-hmm.
this specific method for my partner I currently have, which is the best man. I cannot say it enough.
Everybody
Mm-hmm.
is everybody
Oh,
is listening right now. Make sure the
yeah.
camera is still rolling. I think we can.
Okay,
Okay.
my man.
All right, tell me.
Yeah, such a good man. So what I did, I actually went through a breakup and knowing that was not my person, respectfully, and I sat down and I created this super long list. My next partner is gonna have all of these things, and I went super specific. Um, just like what kind of things he thinks about, how he treats me, how he takes care of me, what kind of friends does he have, what kind of family does he have, like who is he as a person, like going really specific. And I believe I had a list of 30 points. And I looked at it and I was like, ooh, Lynn, I don't know if that's gonna, I don't know if men like that are out there. It's like so specific. And then I just was reminded of manifestation. I was like, you know what? No, they are out there. And I'm just going to manifest right now and I'm going to embody right now. And then I will get it in 2 years. That was my thought process. I'm going to be single for the next 2 years. This person is going to eventually show up in a few years. He showed up in 3 months. And I was still amazed by how he ticked every detailed box. So what I did, I got really clear, okay, who is this person? Okay, who do I need to be as a partner for this person? What kind of partner does he want? Probably just imagining. And then just feeling how it feels to have this wholesome relationship, to have this dynamic with this person, to be my best feminine self with him. And yeah, then we met. So, first step, yeah.
Did you know in the moment when you met him? Wait, let me get my
No, no,
list.
the insane part was I was fixated on him. Like he showed up and I was like, "Ooh, whoa. I really want to talk to you." And I don't have that usually. I love
Mhm.
talking to people, but I keep my distance. And I just felt pulled towards him and he had the same thing. It was a little bit strange. We chatted, we exchanged contacts, and then
Mhm.
we called a few times, and every time we were calling, I was like, he says everything I want a man to say, and I've never explained to him what I want in a man. And that's he had the same thing, and we were both like, it's
Mhm.
too good to be true. True, maybe the feelings will go up and then down again. And then we started hanging out, and then he started doing more and more things that were ticking off the list. And the final box, I remember it. It was I like a guy to be a little bit nerdy, like to philosophize, like think about life in a little bit of a weird way. And he was standing in my kitchen, and he was like, "Yeah, sometimes I really struggle with my mind." And I was like, "Why do you struggle with your mind?" "Yes, I just get stuck thinking about the law of relativity." And it became really nerdy. And I was like, "Tick, okay, ding, 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 that's him." Yeah, and it only
Let's
got
go.
better.
Okay, so everybody get a list, write down, be very
Yeah,
specific.
yeah,
This is the
and
person
what
you want.
also,
And then you also said, who would
yes,
you need to be or who
oh,
would you need to become so that you attract a
yes,
person like this, or that a person like this would be
yes.
attracted to you?
Yes, if you want a man who talks about his feelings or
Mm.
who is in touch with things, and you are not like that, maybe a man would like a woman that has that as well, right? So become that version. And one thing I really want to
Mm-hmm.
mention to people is you need to feel deserving of that person. You can do everything in the world, but if you deep down don't feel like you deserve that kind of person, attracting them becomes really difficult. Yeah.
Can you
So,
elaborate?
well,
Because I know
okay.
someone like that.
It's
Not
you.
me. No, no, not me.
No, but no, I'm kidding.
No,
I'm
no, no,
kidding.
it's not me. I get that feedback
Okay,
sometimes.
okay. I want to hear more about that, to be honest, but I will explain. Um, so yeah, you need to be deserving. Like I deserve a good man, and I know so many women and maybe even men subconsciously believe that they don't deserve someone that good, right? Because they might have beliefs like, I'm not good enough,
Yeah.
so he's too good for me, or I don't deserve them, I'm a bad person. And that is so important. Like, you need to feel like you're deserving of these things. And that's also why I kept attracting the right partners, because I always had this feeling like I deserve a partner to be obsessed with me, to be like, oh my God, I love her, this is my person. And then I always got that. That is the expectation. And yeah.
How how do you feel deserving if you, like, let's say this scenario
Okay,
exists,
yeah.
okay? How do you go from like I'm not deserving this to like you know what, I actually deserve this person?
I think a lot comes back to
I mean, that's the question someone
yes,
would be
yes.
probably
I
asking.
think a lot comes
Yeah.
back to self-love and self-respect. If you truly love yourself, you automatically want the best for you, and you feel like you deserve the best because you're like your own biggest fan. And also respect yourself, because even if you don't truly feel like you're deserving it yet, still practice as if, like, embody it. So if a partner comes in who is not treating you like you deserve to be treated or think you deserve to be treated, let a person go. But so many people, because they have this deep-rooted belief that they deserve nothing better, they get a partner who is just not meeting their needs, and they just stick with it because they don't have, yeah, they cannot create a distance for themselves sometimes.
Yeah, so goes back to you need to change the belief. Like I'm not
Yeah.
worthy, I'm
Yeah.
not
And
good enough, and that it's if it's part of your program and it's part of your, I mean, your belief is your beliefs at the end form your program. If your program says you're not worthy, you're not good enough, and that's been all you are, all you've been exposed to is, you know, of course you won't be standing there like, oh my gosh, I deserve the
for
best.
sure.
It's part of your program. You need to work on it. I think there is no like sexy answer. Do 10
Then
push-ups and then do a backflip and it's gone. It's like the it's probably like
for
the
sure.
inner work.
Yes, 1,000%. Yeah. And
Just out of curiosity, so I get that
uh,
list. I
yeah,
write down,
okay.
just asking for a friend. I get the list. I ask myself, so I'm very specific. I ask myself, who would I need to
Yeah.
be
Yes,
attracting a
and to, or
person
to
like
be
this?
fit.
Okay, what is
Yes,
my
always your
part?
part.
Oh, yeah, to be
And
a good
also, yeah.
fit. Okay, and then do we? What
Okay.
else is part of the
Then we're
ingredient
getting
list? Like
started,
what's
right?
next?
So, yes, this is the
Oh.
pre-work. Without the pre-work, the rest doesn't really matter. So, this is the pre-work. This is simple, writing it down, right? Being creative, thinking about it. Don't let your limited beliefs get into the way. Just write whatever you want, not what you think you can have. Just write down what you want. And then becomes the embodiment part is mostly through visualization, right? It's the easiest way to feel as this person. So what I do with my clients and also in the embodiment routine is I guide you through a process of first regulating the nervous system, being completely calm, feeling already a little bit good, and then we start visualizing this person as if it's another person, right? And we just start noticing, how do they feel, how do they act, like how is their face looking, are they smiling, are they calm, what kind of habits do they have, and you just see it. And in that meditation, I always ask people to really feel the gratitude for seeing that person do that, feel excited for them. It's easier to have that feeling for someone else than for yourself. And then we get into the feeling part of, okay, well, how do they feel while doing all of this? Oh, they're actually super calm, they're very chatty, they're whatever. And more I let them kind of get into that space with that person until they step into that person and truly feel like that, and then they see it through their eyes, and moving through that visualization. Okay, I am living this life now, and I'm happy because I'm working out, I have my dream partner, it feels so good. And I just let them daydream on how good that feels in the body, and just make that feeling bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So that is the second part, like truly feeling like them. Visualization is the easiest part. And the final part is integration, which a lot of people miss sometimes. So now you have this amazing feeling in the meditation. How are you going to bring it with you, right? So there are a lot of methods for this. One question that I love to use, that I've been using since I was like 19, is what would my most confident version do? Like, what would they say right now? How would they show up? So that one really helps. Setting embodiment alarms. I have a bunch of them on my phone, and they just go off with my favorite songs, and it says something I'm embodying right now. And then during that song, I just feel like that. I'm just dancing like, ooh, I have such a good body, or I made this month this much money this month. How does it feel? Oh, I'm feeling good. Um, yeah, and the final integration is just becoming aware of when the opposite is. So when your old trigger is coming up, just becoming aware and be like, oh, I could actually tap into the other energy I was feeling this morning. And I'm doing the same right now for this podcast. I did embodiment for this podcast this morning. So whenever I get a little bit nervous, I'm just like, who was I this morning? That person. Okay, let's go. And I go back into that person. Integration. Yeah.
Mm, mm. I like that.
Yes.
So, I like that this turned into a bit of a recipe for the
Yes.
right partner. And recipe, honestly, also the recipe to
Yes.
enjoy life.
Yes.
I want to pick up on this because I hear it all the time. I'm a big fan. I'm a big
Yes.
believer of visualization. I mean, what is there not to believe? Everybody has visualized in their lives before. Even if you are right now listening saying, I don't know how to visualize. You've done it before
Yes.
many, many times. When you worry about something, you are visualizing. You are visualizing something that hasn't happened yet, and you put yourself into that state of what it's going to be like when XYZ happens. So visualization is exactly that, just with positive things.
Wow.
Because your brain doesn't
That
know,
was amazing. Yes.
because your because your brain doesn't know the difference between it just being in your head and reality. So what we do in visualization is just you use it for you. You use it with events that you want to experience, and when we do this at retreats, for example, we do meditations, and I'm sure you notice this with your clients. You put them into a meditation. You just say, "Shut up, lay down, close your eyes," and you make them think about someone who's not in this room that they love. Everybody's smiling. The person is not even in the room when you go deeper, and you feel love, and the person didn't even freaking do anything. That is the power of visualization, and I love that you're bringing this up because I get to interview a lot of amazing people, and honestly, this is something I hear 99% of the time. They sit down, they visualize. Athletes, they visualize. Such a beautiful thing. I mean,
If someone is listening who hasn't done it before, or like hasn't done it in a positive way, please start today. Just like a 3-minute visualization can change your entire
yeah.
day if you just tap into the right energy.
1,000,000%. And then the other thing that you said, it was so we visualization practices, and you were so generous. You put free resources into,
Yes.
if I remember correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong. We put resources into the description so that people can get started, and I want everybody
Yes.
to get started. This is such a freaking hack, and I'm saying this as someone who struggled a lot with
Yes.
confidence and anxiety, and there's help.
Please.
Take it, use it, really do. Please do. Are there any other practical tips that can help? I had another thought, but I lost it while being so excited about the visualization
So,
part. I'll come back.
so you mean like any practical tips for embodiment? You mean?
Yeah, embodiment, and also I'm just like right now for some reason I'm picturing someone who says like, hey, listen guys, I have low confidence, I do struggle with anxiety. I just want to give them practical things they can start doing. We already had
Yes.
a couple of one, and this visualization thing, that stuff is really
Yes.
powerful. A lot of awareness. Are there any other things that people can do
Yes. Yes.
practically?
Yes. So these are two of my favorites. So one, we have the embodiment. Um, Two, I will touch upon now, is the self-image journaling. It's life-changing. And then with exposure. So when we have low confidence and we have social anxiety mostly, you likely have a negative self-image. So the self-image is just basically how you view yourself, like the beliefs you have about yourself. Um, if you have
Yes.
this, just a simple daily journal routine can shift that completely into a positive self-image. And I do this in the first session with my clients already because I just want them to do this exercise at least for 2 months because then it sticks. So basically, how you need to see your mind is a closet and it has these boxes with beliefs on it. And the mind seeks proof for what it already believes. So it puts like these beliefs in these boxes. And maybe you have a very big box with a negative belief, like, I'm not good enough, people don't like me. So over the years, a lot of evidence pieces were in this box. It has grown, it's piling out, and now you struggle with it because it's filling up your mind. So what we do with the self-image exercise is we place a new tiny box there with a positive belief, and believe me, it's a tiny box. And I'm going to force you to look for proof every single day, filling it, filling it, filling it, filling it. It becomes bigger, and now the old box, because we cannot remove the old box, but it has competition now. Now you can choose which route am I gonna take right today. And the bigger it gets, the more it becomes the default. Right
Yes.
now, my box used to be nobody likes me. I have a box now that's huge that says everybody loves me. And even when I get into a room where people wouldn't love me, I would just go out of the room, go into a new room with the same belief. Everybody loves me. Like it's a deep rooted belief. So how that works, it's super simple. You find the negative belief, the negative self-image. You flip it around, very simple, into a positive one, and make sure that it's in the extremes. Like the same as nobody likes me, everybody loves to be around me, right? Not of like some people like to be around me.
I'm not good enough.
Yes,
I've
I'm
always been
amazing.
good
Like,
enough.
and that new sentence is allowed to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
If you don't believe it yet, that's fine. That's what the exercise is for.
Okay.
And then just go about your day and find proof for that every single day. And I can guarantee you that proof is out there, 1000%. If you are one of the unlucky few and that proof is not out there, create it. So, an example of this is everybody loves me. Well, you will see that people start chatting to you. Someone on the street is smiling towards you. Write it down because the negative belief does the same for the opposite. If somebody looks mean at you and you don't know it, just like, nobody likes me. So if they smile at you, okay, everybody loves me. Do the exact opposite. And yeah, the more you do this, the stronger it gets, honestly. And there was one more thing I wanted to say
Yeah.
about it, but it just slipped my mind.
Maybe it slipped into the
Yeah.
same box where my thought went a
Yeah.
couple minutes ago. I While you were speaking, another examples out of my personal life came into my mind. So you said whatever you basically want to look for, like you can
For
find
sure.
proof for anything. You can find proof for. I could find proof for Axel, you're a bad person right now. Like I could write
Yes.
you an entire book with reasons when I made mistakes, when I acted out like a little kid, things that I did that I'm not proud of. Like I can make myself feel miserable
Yes.
like this.
Yes.
Everybody can. You can do that. But I can also write a book, same length, if not longer, with things that I managed well, like things
Yes.
that I'm proud of, people that I helped. Like I can do the same thing. It's choice time,
Yes.
and then it also becomes a habit, I think, to if you practice this over and over again, you become better at looking, actually, this is a good thing. I practice gratitude. I've been doing this religiously for the last 10 years. I look for, okay, what is good about this? I went through 6 rounds of chemotherapy. It's not like some toxic positivity bullshit. I had no hair. I lost, got now, I think like 30 kilograms of weight. It was dark, rainy, and this habit helped so much because I'm like, okay, still, there is something positive
Mm-hmm.
here. Like even in those moments, there is something positive. Okay, I can go on a walk. Nice. I have this amazing brother and sister who are supporting me like there's no tomorrow. Oh, okay. And I started feeling better.
Wow.
And that just shows you that even in the most painful moments, there is something you
Yes.
can look for. And there is in any moment you can choose, to focus on something good and focus on something bad. I'm teaching about this, I'm preaching about this, and I still sometimes go to this wrong freaking box, and then I catch
Yes.
myself out of it, and I'm like, what? It's the wrong box, mate.
Yes.
Shift. But I think that's what
Oh
the
my
whole
God.
journey
I
is
love that you're
about.
mentioning that you're saying this. It is a choice. What you think is a choice, and for many, it doesn't feel like that because they've been thinking the same way for such a long time. And I have this beautiful example. If people are stuck in this, I have a beautiful example for them to kind of see what they're doing. So just imagine your brain is like this kind of this field of grass with high grass. And all your neural pathways, so the pathways you take for your current habits, your current beliefs, everything, you already walked that path a few times. So the grass is flat there. So you created a road for yourself, basically. Your new ways of thinking are somewhere in the field. And the grass is still high there. So the first time you kind of have to go in between all the grass. And the more you walk that road, the better the road gets. But it's still, after using it a few times, it's still a crappy road. So the brain is like, I'd rather take the negative road because that one, maybe there's already concrete, there's a whole street there. So I really want people to know that you can change. It's a choice. But the first few times, it's going to feel like you're kind of paving the way onto the grass. But with consistency, that also becomes a path. And now you have two paths. And now you can really choose which one you're taking. I hope that helps a little bit for people to visualize that.
Yeah. No, 1,000,000%. It's also, I like this this picture that you just painted. It also shows you that the road's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be a life without any problems. You just get better problems, more high quality problems. Like if I look back in my life, the quality of my problem, it feels like they're getting better. The problems, my ability to cope and deal with it right now in my personal life, there are things that are not going that well, like someone I care about is not feeling well, and that would have been probably, it would have broken me 10 years ago. Now I'm like, okay, I believe in my abilities to figure it out, to find this, to be there, and I trust, I have faith. That wasn't the case 10 years ago. That's like the kind of like, those are the wins that I celebrate the most. I'm like, okay, I can deal with this now. Even, even when shit hits the fan, and it does for everybody at some point. I think that's this path that you just described. So.
And I'm wondering about this specific situation. Do you feel like control also has a part in it? Like maybe you're better at knowing what you can control and what you can't?
I think I'm better now at relaxing into faith that it's gonna be okay. That yeah, I don't focus so much anymore on what I can't control most of the time. I would say most of the time the focus is back. Okay, it's gonna be all right. I have faith. I just saw amazing things happening in life, and so far no problem in my life has been that big that it stopped everything. So I'm more like at this point. I just have trust in my abilities to figure things out, to always find a way, and I think that's what faith is. It's the opposite of fear.
Yes. There's also so much evidence around it, as you mentioned, right? Like every time something bad happens, I figured it out. I'm still here. I'm doing better still, even though all those hardships. So you create evidence in the
All the
brain.
hardships you've overcome already in your life, like put that into a box for a second. Like all the breakups you've survived, all the challenges you've survived, all the exams that you failed at, whatever you want to put in. Like you did all of this and you're still here, still breathing. Fuck. Linde,
Yes.
the podcast is called Success Leaves Clues, and I have this romantic idea. I'm a bit of a romantic. If you didn't know, now you know. I have this idea that one day I put the best knowledge in terms of health, in terms of wealth, in terms of relationships into one book and gift it to my kids. if I choose to have kids at some point. If not, to someone else's kids. What do
Wow.
you think should be in this box? What is the best piece of advice that you have ever received?
Oh, that I've ever received. Ooh, ooh. I don't know if it's the best advice, but it made the biggest impact on me lately. And it was someone who said to me, like, when you feel like, who am I to do this, or who am I to say this, or take this path, or show up as this version? And this person was like, okay, who are you not to? Who are you not to do these things? Why, yeah, that really hit a nerve in me. And I was like, yeah, true. Why wouldn't I do these things? I can do everything because I choose to.
Oh, I can do everything because I choose to.
Yes, and it truly feels like that. Because why wouldn't I? Like, what is so special about me that I can't? Right? I see all these other people doing it. So what is so less about me? No, if they can do it, I see it as proof like I can do that.
I have the same core belief. I think I could be speaking to you for the next 3.5 hours and I wouldn't get tired. I'm curious. If you would have to put another, just I have the feeling I'm onto something here. That was brilliant. So you're becoming part of the book. What else would you want to put in there? Like something, a message that you would want to leave for someone else, maybe even for your younger self, someone who's going through something similar, someone who is in the position of maybe having anxiety attacks, maybe struggling with self confidence, maybe overcoming a breakup right now. What is something you would want to let them know?
Ooh. Well, there's one question that kind of always drives me forward, and that's the question that has gotten me to where I am today. And if I would have had that earlier, I would have done the work earlier as well. And when it comes to confidence, but you can use it for any struggle, it's like just think about your level of confidence right now. And if you stay stuck at that level of confidence, where will your life be in 5 or 10 years from now? Or where will it be in 70 years from now? Because that's what got my journey started. I was 18 and there was someone close to my family who had the same insecurities as me, and I was just looking at their life and I was like, okay, where will I be if I don't fix this right now? And I was like, ooh, I don't want that. I don't want that. And where would your life be if you do work on this, right? In 5 years, if you just work with your confidence now, and I know it's a long journey sometimes, it can take some time, where will you be in 5 to 10 years from
Yeah.
now? And I think that is something I want to give everyone, because doesn't go only for confidence, it goes for every single struggle. If you don't fix it
Yeah.
right now, where will you
Wow.
be
Yeah, you will
in a
end
few
up
years' time?
somewhere in 5 years. The question is, will you like that place based on how you act and how
Yeah.
you think and the decisions you
Yes.
make every day? Wow. Goosebump moment number
Yes.
47. I want to thank you.
Nice.
This was brilliant. I'm going to put obviously your resources into the description box, all your socials. Big, massive fan of
Yes.
your work. So, is there something that like? I imagine people are listening right now. They're thinking like, "Oh my gosh, that woman is full of wisdom." Big fan of her work. Where should people go find you? How can people get involved, basically?
Ooh. So right now, go on my Instagram. That's where I'm most active. If you want to start your journey with the simplest embodiment practice, get my 15-minute embodiment practice. That's exact routine I use every single day. Just get that one. Other ways to get involved. Right now, I'm not taking any one-on-one clients. However, that is opening up again early next year. So just stay on my social media. And if you just want to get started on your own, I have free guides for anxiety. I have a free guide for self esteem building. They can just kind of get started with those things. And then early next year, I'm ready to guide if they are ready to take action. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of acting. That's one of my mantras in life. I act when the idea is hot, and at the end of the episode, I always tell people like, what are you doing with what you just learned? Because otherwise, it's just information. What will you actually do? And right now, I want everybody to, just like me, hop over to your Instagram, because I get a lot of inspiration from it. There are free resources that everybody can use, and please, 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 especially if you're one of those who said before the episode, you're obviously not going to do it now anymore, I'm not confident, or I have anxiety, and you have those things. Let's do something. Let's change, so that in 5 years we can all meet, including you and me, we can sit on the table, we can make another episode, and the next time when you listen to that episode, your life has changed, you have changed, and you're sitting there with a big smile on your face. There you go.
Wow. Exactly.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time. And yeah, hopefully until very soon in person.
Yes, thank you so much. And we will meet. I'm coming to
Perfect.
Bali in
Amazing, amazing.
early next year.